of the King and Queen of Belgium in Congo, what you are talking about is one of the nastiest and one of the most brutal aspects of human domination over another. You're talking about something more than a massacre, something more than genocide. It's a level of atrocities that human beings have never seen in Africa. The killing that this family actually carried out in places like Congo is unprecedented.
So, I mean, I don't know.
I don't know whether this...
No, they've not been. Whether this visit is for Africans or for Congolese to clap for them, for the King and Queen of Belgium coming to visit their country, or whether they've come to apologize and to pay reparation.
That is the one that haven't really seen. I mean, when you talk about apology, you're talking about the larger possible apology that is due in the whole history of human beings. That has never happened. We've never heard about it. And when you talk about reparation, I believe, and I don't want to, draw any comparison, but what happened in Africa and in Congo as a result of these people,
which they are suffering as a result,
a lot greater than what happened in many places, including Europe. But we haven't seen apologies. You're talking about these people are, experimented, killed. They went into mass.
They treated Congolese as subhuman.
Not even animals. Actually, they haven't really treated the animals of Congo as worse, as they treated the human beings. Things which I hesitate to mention in this show, actually, the way they treated the people of Congo. So when you talk about, this is something just beyond imagination. Why is this happening without us having these main issues, apology and then reparation? This have never happened because expected. I know even
I think last week we mentioned it, where they even had a tooth of Patrice Lumumba as a trophy in their museum somewhere in Belgium. I mean, I can't understand the worst insult you can give to a nation. What do you want to have this tooth for? Just to show that, the first president after colonization, after independence, will have his tooth here. I mean, is that for historical reasons? Is that to demonstrate the atrocities carried out in that largest resourced full country in Africa, if not in the whole world? Buhari, do you have an opinion?
No, I've not heard of this visit. So just now, but I find myself agreeing with what Jaffa was saying. Honestly, is the atrocities and the inhumane treatment and the tortures and the stolen of the values like from that country, and the country is still suffering from these acts. So what triggered this visit after all these years? I don't know what's behind it and what the reason for it.
Bear in mind, it was a model of colonization which is unique in itself, because it used to be the personal. Congo used to be the personal
property of their king.
Of the king. So it's you're talking about a model of colonization which has never been See it, and it's being treated as his
Yeah.
house.
Yeah, it's a property. It's like his Congo as a property for him. But but I don't know what the reason. So, but hopefully that will be a way of apologizing, and then a way of reparation, a way of giving something back to these people, and try to come out of this historical
Guilt.
guilt, or the whole world, particularly African, they knew that it was the worst colony in the region.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll leave DRC for now, and hopefully we'll assess the outcome of the visit. I think it's just a 6-day visit from last week. Maybe they'll be going back tomorrow or whatever it is. They call it
monitor it and then report it, yeah.
It's just, that is, when we opened the show, I was talking about love. You still have somewhere within the recesses of your mind to forgive and show love to the oppressor. I just hope that is still what is happening in DRC. It's not the other way around, using their president to associate himself with the oppressor. And I mean, let me not
Love to the operator.
talk myself into trouble now.
Yes,
Anyway,
they've
yeah.
already done so.
Anyway,
Showing love to your
okay. I wish I had that type of love. So I can. Anyway,
No, not myself
okay.
now.
You know, Nigeria now.
Yeah.
We talked about this last week. That PDP
Yeah.
had their
Candidate now.
primary election, and they've had their candidate.
Named.
Yeah.
I was chosen.
They've
Abubakar.
Abubakar,
Thank you.
yeah, Atiku Abubakar as their presidential candidate.
Okay.
Yes, and
So it's Atiku Abubakar. It's not no one from
South.
the south.
No.
Okay.
You see, that is the intrigues of politics, especially in Nigeria, because it's horse trading. Up to the last second of voting, we are negotiating. If you do this and do that, you do stand up for me and everything. So, before just the commencement, or even during the voting session, one or two candidates withdrew and said it threw his support for the candidature of Atiku Abubakar. And that changed the dynamics of everything. So he won by maybe.
So tell me what was happening at the background. Is it again the procurement?
If I know I'll be a billionaire. If I know I'll be these politicians, they start their meetings. They don't start not as normal human beings. They start their meeting from 1 o'clock where people are sleeping, and they finish around 6 where people are just about to wake up. So it is during this time.
So it's
They work 24 hours.
Night operation.
Very, very much so.
What's the Nigerian think about this?
About what?
About the new president?
No, it's
at least Muhammad Buhari is going.
Yeah, Muhammad Buhari is not.
But by the look
participating
of it, it's going to be replaced by another Muhammadu Buhari, at least in terms of the divide of the country.
No,
I was
yeah,
expecting
so-
someone from the south.
Yeah,
this
no,
time.
that's
an unspoken of
yeah.
gentleman agreement.
We spoke about this last week, and I don't personally support this north and south dichotomy. If you rule north for 8 years, south should come to south. That is antithesis to democracy. For democracy, it runs against democratic principle. The best should win election and govern prudently and selflessly. But whether you have a crook from the south that is waiting to replace another crook from the north, it doesn't help any democracy, you see. Anyway, I don't want to call anybody crook, but what
already done so.
without mentioning name.
It's not you.
Without mentioning
mentioning name.
Okay. Anyway, don't put me into trouble anyway. Now, what I'm just saying is, it's okay. It's okay. It's party. What answering your question, Buhari, is whether Nigerians feel or not. If you're a member of that party, then you can express your satisfaction or dissatisfaction. You can't stay outside the party and try to influence the workings of the party. Because the party saw it fit that it doesn't matter where anybody comes from, let them throw it open. The essence is to win election. Then we can start maybe dividing positions or whatever it is. And other people say, no, foul. This session is ruled for 8 years. It's our turn. And there were almost more than 4 candidates from the South. Instead of them uniting to bring one candidate up, they were voting against each other. And why the North were uniting to back against one candidate, so they lost. That's democracy. It's a numbers game. And it was done in the open.
So what do you think that what happened is actually the candidates from the South worked against each other in a way that allowed the Northerner?
Possibly. What I think, not what happened.
But the North itself is actually divided.
But in
More than
in a public figure, in a public view, they seem more united than the South. Because the governor of Rivers State, we came from the South, came second. If other candidates from the South had rallied against him, or if they had stood down for him through this, and then they will, at least he will beat the North. So, I mean, I don't want to dwell in this North and South, and it's gone, it's dusted. So
now we have, that's the main thing, we have 2 candidates, all from the North, one from the
Southwest,
PDP, and the other
ABC.
one now,
APC.
the ABC.
Yeah. So I want to talk about how the APC candidate came about.
Yeah.
Not. The process was transparent. I mean, everything was in the open. But they gave each contestant, each aspirant, 2 minutes to talk about what.
How many minutes?
2. To talk about what they will bring to the table. That was when I sent you a stupid message. He went on talking about Buhari, giving the biography of Buhari, that he will want to be like Buhari. And it got only about maybe 10 seconds later, then he wanted to talk about himself, what he will bring. So I said that was the most nauseating presentation I've ever heard in my life. This guy is living. You've spent your time talking about how you met him in 2002 or whatever it is, how you went in, how you did this, how you did that, how you did this, how you did that, and your time is coming. You've not told your party what you would do if elected as a flag bearer. Look, is this what the country has produced?
It's an indication that
It's a reflection of the country. It's I mean, with due respect, it's an elderly man. And these people still, according to Goodluck Jonathan's wife, say they are what is the opposite of being digital? Analog. Yeah, so they are analog in their thinking. They've not entered the real world. And they want to govern a complex society like Nigeria. But eventually, anyway, they've turned up one from the north and one from the southwest. So, then the fight begins. The campaign will start. And the 2 people are fairly elderly people in their 70s. They are old politicians. One from the Yoruba tribe and the other one from the House of Fulani tribe. So that is it for Nigeria. We'll see what will happen, whether there will be a third force, because there are other younger political parties brewing, making
Headways.
noises left and right, whether Nigerians will surprise these two big parties.
That's the hope.
So the important thing is for people to have their PVC cards that will enable them to go and vote.
Now here where the audit that has been done in Kenya is here because these days digital in this digital age.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be a big problem because you need
No, like in those, because the election practices are developing, evolving. I mean, like before, they used to snatch ballot boxes and all they run away with it and go and fill ballot boxes with one particular candidate. And with one particular candidate, and they will count. And before they move from one polling unit to the collation ward, the transcript will change. They will rig the election, and the more you look, the less you see. So now, there now be the new electoral act. One of the provisions in the act stipulates that you've got to transmit results as people are finishing voting straight to the portal of the INEC. So politicians are now fighting head and tail to make sure they have to clean up their acts. They've got to no more rigging. If you rig, you will be exposed.
But it seems there's another way of...
Sorry, let me just finish this.
Digital?
No.
Let me just finish. But the only way they are doing it now is monetizing election. You have seen during the PDP, they were dollarizing, paying in dollars and both real and unreal fake ones and all this type of thing. And now they will pay the supporters, in this case delegates. They call it delegates procurement system. Anyway, what we want to say.
I was going to talk about this. So there's another way of finding people. You pay people. They can recruit voters for you, and you pay them money.
Of course, I mean
that's the corruption.
Of course, I mean at that time I was telling you about you've got to have literate electorates. That you have army of people unemployed in that country that are being used for this main purpose. After 4 years, they bring them out as thugs. Why the politicians have their children abroad? These thugs will take bullets for politicians, and once they are disposed, next.
So, have the two parties in their dealing and through this process of picking up candidate in this nomination process, have they tried to look into these issues and try to study them publicly?
What issue?
Issue of how can we bring about the elections that are credible?
Yes, they have. That is the result of the Electoral Act 2022, which the president signed recently, about a few months back. Because those NGOs, everybody involved, considering what has been happening in the past, so they put everything together to make sure that rigging will be. No, it's not. It will still be possible, but almost practically impossible.
Okay.
To rig.
Now, making use of your knowledge of the Nigerian system and how it works, do you think there is now? That's it. We have two candidates, one representing PDP, and one APC.
Yeah.
Is there any within the time remaining? Is there any chance for a candidate to stand from other smaller parties?
Yes. There are candidates from other smaller parties.
Are there any young, vibrant, sort of different?
Yeah.
Or you got the
you
sort
have
of all the
YYP, young something party for young people. You have a Labour Party. You have a Social Democratic Party. You have other young people are going in there. You see, the at the end of it is politics of the pocket. If you are hungry, if you've been going without food for maybe 2 months, and on that election day, a politician comes to you and give you equivalent of 6 months' food, you forget about your morals. You forget about maybe the politician is a thief. You eat first.
But how many voters do I have in Nigeria?
We have almost 80 something million.
Who can afford to buy all these? You're talking about 80 million voters.
You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. There is money bags.
Wealthy people.
I mean, I will. One day we'll go to just Abuja, and you see some houses you find in Abuja that they don't exist there, and you also see some slums in Abuja that is not anywhere else. So they are poverty and wealth living side by side.
Happily.
Happily in some instances. I mean, it's very sad. But they are at like a breaking point. Anything could spark one to hit the other, or the other to hit one. I mean, it is very tense. Because you don't have social services, you don't have all this welfare and all that. No. So it's survival of the fittest.
Support.
You have female candidates.
I mean, female in terms of the presidential, no. Because
that is already a process that is biased already.
That is not biased. Whether they want to participate, that's another thing. That has a lot of historical this thing. Whether it's cultural, meaning it can contest why your husband is contesting or don't go there. It is true. It will never happen. I mean, I'm not saying it will never happen. We only have one female contestant to be a governor in the north, and I just hope she will break the ice to be the first female governor in the